Hello friend, I am Naval. You are watching Code with Naval. Welcome to Java series part 64. In the last video we saw join method. In this video we are going to discuss about thread naming. By default each thread have a name. By default Java provide by default naming. If you don't provide any name, then by default Java provide thread-0, then thread-1, then thread-2 and so on. Thread class provide a method to change thread name, or we can simply get thread name. Here thread class provides two methods, t1.getName. This getName simply return a thread name, and then we have a setName. Inside a setName method we simply provide a new thread name, and here we pass thread name, and here we can change thread name. Then here we have a current thread. What is my current thread? The current thread method return a name of current executing thread, or we can simply say current thread return an instance of a current thread. And by using that, here you can see this syntax System.out.println. Here we simply pass thread.currentThread.getName. Instead of getName we can simply write here dot getID dot getPriority, and we can simply here we have a thread. Here we have a thread instance. We can use this instance, and we can use getName, getPriority, getID, all this method. Okay, let's open Eclipse and let's see practically. Okay, I'll simply create here new class, and I'll simply give this class name part 64, and here let's create a one class demo 64, and this demo 64 class extend thread. Okay, extend thread class, and inside here we simply write a run method, public void run. Okay, public void run, and here inside run we can simply write any statement. I'll simply write here System.out.println. We can simply print here thread name, thread.currentThread.getName. Okay, here you can see get ID, get name, get priority, get class, all this method present inside a thread class. Okay, let's save this, and I'll simply create a main method. I'll simply write a main method and create this demo 64 object. Okay, let's create here demo 64 t1 equal to new demo 64. Okay, and create two more. Okay, I'll simply copy and paste, and I'll simply change here object the variable name. Okay, and I'll simply start one by one. t1 dot start, then t2 dot start, then t3 dot, okay, right here t3 dot start. Okay, let's save and simply run this, and here you can see here by default you got thread 0, thread 1 and thread 2. Okay, by default this name provide a Java, this name provide a JVM. Okay, but I have a requirement, I want change this name. Okay, then how can we do that? Here we have for changing name, here we have a method t1 dot set name. Okay, you can see we can set priority. We already saw priority. Here we have a set name. Okay, in a first thread I want given a name first. Okay, for first I'll simply give name first, and for second and third also change. Okay, for second and for third, for second we will simply give second. Okay, and for third we will simply provide. Okay, let's save this and run this, and here you can see this new name first, second and third. Okay, we simply change name by using a set name. Okay, and here we use a get name for getting current thread name, and here we simply use a set name for setting a name. Okay, then one more thing we have a, okay, I'll show thread name, thread ID. Okay, let's add here and change here, instead of get name I'll simply dot get ID. Let's save this and run this, and you can see here we got ID. This ID is a by default provided by JVM. We can't change this ID. Okay, I'll show. Can we change? Let's try to change ID. T1 dot set ID. Okay, you can see here we don't have any method for setting ID. Okay, here we have a just method for a set this name priority and all these, but here don't have any method for a setting ID. That means we can't set ID. We can just get ID and we can just print that ID. What is the name? By default this main. Okay, I'll simply copy this line and I'll simply paste this line here. Okay, or I'll simply copy this two line and paste here and simply change here main thread. Okay, main. This main method is nothing but our main thread. Inside a main thread we can create this sub thread, or we can say this child thread. Okay, this main thread is a parent thread and this is a child thread. Okay, let's save this and run this, and here you can see this main thread name is the main, and this main thread by default ID is the 1, and we can't change this ID. Depend on a JVM provide this thread ID. Okay, we can't change that ID. In this video that's it. Here we saw how to set name, how to get name, how to get ID. In the next video we will see next topic. Till that, bye bye.